Emma Watson shows the world that true power isn't about how tall you stand but how deeply you move people, and Star Buzz is here to break down why this woman continues to captivate hearts and minds across the globe, because while millions still carry vivid memories of her as the sharp, brilliant Hermione Granger who grew up on screen in the Harry Potter series, what really keeps fans fascinated is how someone who stands at about 5 feet 5 inches, a height many would call ordinary, somehow commands an extraordinary presence everywhere she goes, and that's the paradox that makes her so unforgettable, because when Emma steps onto a red carpet, addresses a global summit, or even sits for a quiet interview, her aura fills the room in a way that makes her feel larger than life, and that's the magic she has mastered, showing that greatness is not measured in inches but in influence. And while some are surprised when they finally see her in person and realize she isn't towering in height, what strikes them immediately after is the undeniable impact of her poise, elegance, and confidence, a combination that makes her seem untouchable in terms of presence, and yet still approachable in spirit, and it's that balance that keeps her standing out in an industry where so many rely on flash, theatrics, or superficial traits to get noticed, because Emma has never needed gimmicks. Her authenticity and quiet strength have always been enough to grab attention, and when you consider the arc of her journey from child star to activist, you begin to see why her influence feels so much greater than her physical frame, because her UN speech launching the He for She campaign wasn't just a celebrity moment, it was a turning point in how young women across the globe saw their own voices, and her ongoing commitment to women's rights, education opportunities, and sustainable fashion continues to prove that her legacy isn't built on the roles she's played but on the courage she represents, and fans often describe her as petite yet powerful, relatable yet commanding, soft in demeanor yet hard-hitting in purpose, and this paradox is exactly what elevates her above so many of her peers, because while her co-stars may tower over her physically, few have matched the cultural and social impact she has achieved, shaping conversations that matter far beyond the movie industry. And that's why whenever people try to talk about Emma Watson's size, the discussion quickly shifts from height to heart, from numbers on paper to influence in the real world, because what matters is not how she looks in comparison to others but how she makes people feel when she speaks, acts, or takes a stand, and in today's world where appearance often overshadows substance, Emma flips the script and reminds everyone that substance will always win, because she embodies grace in every step, strength in every word, and inspiration in every project, and that's what makes her one of those rare individuals who don't just play characters but become symbols of something greater. And if you've ever been struck by how unexpectedly average her height may seem in person, it doesn't take more than a moment to realize her presence is anything but average, because her determination, her charisma, and her refusal to let the superficial define her make her feel 10 feet tall, and that's the kind of influence no special effects, costumes, or media tricks can replicate. It's real, it's earned, and it's why Emma Watson will always be remembered not just as a star but as a force, a woman who continues to prove that you don't need to tower physically to stand taller than most in terms of legacy, and when you step back and look at her career and activism, you understand that she has redefined what it means to be powerful, reminding the world that true greatness comes not from size but from the courage to use your voice, the strength to stay authentic, and the influence to change lives.